appreciate the way the kids are working, and got one more week, 2 practices, and the spring games. We got to make sure we finish up the right way.
How healthy has Rafael looked to you this spring, and assuming he is fully healthy in the fall, how does he change what you can do with this field goal unit?
Well, I think I think he's healthy. It's he's still coming. He's not. I don't think none of the players are and should be really in season shape. But I think it hasn't been bothering him, and I feel he feels good, and therefore I feel good that way with his health. And certainly, a good kicker is huge for your team. And I thought last year, he was performing at a high level. He's got to come back and have that, and still see what he can do to continue to get better. And so but a good half is really good for this team.
Well, there was legislation passed today, a bunch of things. The official visits for juniors, how is that going to change? Is it going to benefit you guys in any way?
Yeah, I think it's really good for the prospective student athletes. We've got, and we've had, like this spring, we've had a number of kids that come up, and that's on their dime. And so I think it's really good for the prospective student athlete. And we think it'll help us. I think that typically we don't use a lot of there's 56 official visits you can have. We don't use and never have here. And so I think we'll use more visits, but I think it's really good for the process.
Just basically so they don't have to spend their own money.
Right. And I think, there'll be some that I think the unofficials will still take place because you got a chance to maybe hit a number of schools if it's a spring break or something, or summertime. But, as far as how, I think it'll be a little bit harder or different for the prospective student athlete to pick those 5 visits it's going to take. I don't know. None of us know how it's going to impact. Kids maybe take fewer overall visits. Really don't know, and I think you probably won't really get a feel until you get an idea. But I think it probably take 3, 4, 5 years to figure out.
Like the early sign at the end. What are your thoughts on the no two-a-days?
That's a lot of questions, Joe. First one was the early signing. I think the early signing's good. I think that it's, and I was in favor of the June as well. If you had 3 signing periods, that one, I think it's when a kid's ready, his commitment can be real, and I think the offers that on our part that we give out, those have to be real, because the kid could take, if he's committed and you've offered, then that should be signable. And so I like that it puts validity to the 2 terms, offer and commitment. Where the December, I think it's good, but it's only a month. And then 2-a-days.
2-a-days.
I love 2-a-day. I love practices, but I think it's there's merit to it all. I think we've done a pretty good job of being smart. No one goes in trying to. No one is more concerned about player safety than coaches and I think the players. And I think you do need a certain number of practices to get ready for the season. And so however they do it, I think one of the proposals, you start camp a little bit earlier and you have it, and the mandatory. As long as they give you opportunity to teach and for kids to get into playing shape and understand what they're doing and how they're doing it, then I'm in favor.
What have you liked about your defensive line group this spring? And does that group have to have a level of selflessness, just given the positions that they play and maybe the other guys make the plays that they create?
There's no doubt that there's some of that, and it is an unselfish group. But I think it's also a group that's capable of impacting the game. And there's production that has departed, and who's going to make up for that production? I hope it's a number of different position groups, and we feel like we've got good players there, and they're capable of impacting the game and producing in numbers. So like it. They played a lot of football. Love the way they approach it and play and prepare. I think they're capable of producing as well. You know, it's not just a selflessness they got to play. They can have a little edge of selfishness, right? Directed the right way.
Paul, what strengths does Leon Jacobs have to make him a good fit outside linebacker for you guys?
You know, Leon's he's a talented football player. You know, I'm excited. I think he's finding a home, and there's a guy that's unselfish. He can do anything for his team. A guy that physically, I think, has a lot of talents to him, loves the game, and do anything for his team. And when I think of Leon, I think there's a guy that can be, and for us to be as good as we can, is a guy like what last year Moose did, that's to play his best football this year. And Leon is definitely capable of making a big impact on his team. It's been fun to watch.
He's a guy that's been moved around a lot. You know, been in and out of the starting lineup. But he hasn't really complained at all. Does he?
No.
What does that show what type of guy he is? That he's just kind of gone with the flow.
I think absolutely. And it's not. He cares a ton about his team, and he will do whatever he can to help him. And I think this year, like I said, I think if we're going to be as good a team as we can be, Leon's a guy that he's one of those seniors that's got to play and is capable of and feel confident that he'll play his best football.
Well, Settle is not afraid to use multiple tailbacks. Do you think next year you'll have, if Deal comes back, you'll have guys who can give you different things and the total package give you some productivity?
Yeah, I think if you're looking at it right now, I think you would say that we'll have a number of guys playing until they start to. One will maybe separate. But I think they've done a nice job of continuing to grow this spring. It's been important for them. And it will be good to get Taiwan back. And we've got guys that played in games, but none of them have been in the role that really Corey was in, or even Dari. And so they've got to take that step forward. But I would guess that see a lot of backs.
Have you seen Chris change grow since, I guess, from the time at Pittsburgh to now?
Yeah, I mean, Chris was a freshman, when I was with him, and I think that, there's a little bit more of an urgency, which is natural because of, he's older now, and the number of opportunities are fewer, and I think he's also got an understanding of what it takes to be successful. More so, I think he's done a nice job of fitting in with this team. So I'm glad he's here. All right, thanks.